Your company is looking to replace your call center solution. Maybe you're replacing your phone system and your call center at the same time, or maybe it's just the call center. But one question that came up is, hey, your company's starting to use Teams quite a bit, and you want to know which cloud contact center or call center solutions integrate with Microsoft Teams. It's a great question. Obviously, since this pandemic especially, Teams is something that a lot of companies have started to use, and a lot of companies have call centers out there. So you want to know, hey, how do we integrate this call center with Teams? There might be a number of reasons why you're wanting to do that. Maybe you're wanting to use Teams phone system for your normal phone system functions, or maybe your company just is living within Teams so much and collaborating internally that you want the call center to also integrate with Teams. So great question, and I wanted to make a video on it in terms of how to kind of guide you through your thinking of what type of integration you're looking for, and know some stuff up front so that when you go to shop for companies, you know what you're asking for right away. So before I get too deep into the topic, just a quick plug. If you want to know which vendors your company should be quoting, which call center vendors your company should be quoting that integrate with Teams, don't Google it. Don't try to watch a million videos like mine and try to guess. Instead, just contact me. I'm a broker for all the major cloud contact center service providers. And within a few questions, I can tell you the best companies that you should be quoting. So more information on that at the end of the video. Also, if you like the video, don't forget to hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel. So the first question that you want to ask yourself about your organization's call center needs, if you want your call center software to integrate with Teams, is what type of integration do you really want? There's two main types that I would say of integration with Teams. Number one is you just want the ability for one of your users to be within Teams and make an outbound call, meaning they want to click to dial a certain number within a contact that they have that they're seeing in Teams and make an outbound call. So maybe you have a call center where you're making a lot of outbound calls and those contacts are within Teams. Maybe you have a CRM that's integrated with Teams and you want to be able to click to dial to outbound call. So you don't necessarily have to use Teams as your interface all the time, but you just want to outbound call through Teams. Well, that's what I would call an integration, not necessarily using Teams phone system. So that's the first category. The second category, I would say, is you want to be able to use Teams as your only interface for your call center agents. So you want your call center agents to live within Teams, maybe using Teams phone system for your whole organization, and then you have your call center also on Teams phone system with the additional call center features. So that's the first question. Decide which of those best fits your organization's call center needs. So the second thing you want to think about when it comes to integrating your call center software with Microsoft Teams is the features that you're going to need with your call center. So that will really determine what type of Teams product that you can have with the call center product that you're looking for. So, okay, so to kick it off, the first feature you want to think about is, do we really need a call center, or do we just have ring groups? Okay, so what that is I talk to a lot of companies on a daily basis, and a lot of times companies will say, hey, we have a call center. And they'll say, well, when a call comes in to this one number, it rings 10 phones simultaneously within our organization, and the first person who picks it up takes the call. Well, that's not really a call queue. They'll say that, hey, we have a call queue, and that's what it does. Well, that's not technically what I would term a call queue. That's what I would term a ring group or a hunt group. And that's different than a call queue. And I know within Microsoft Teams, they call some things call queues, and they're really ring groups and stuff like that. So it gets pretty confusing. But the way I would term that is the difference between a true call queue and a ring group is a call queue is when the caller is sitting on hold while your phone system is finding someone available to answer the call, and it's finding one person. And then once that one person can answer the call is connected and the person stops hearing the whole music and they start talking to the person. That's what I would call a true call queue. A ring group is more where a person calls in and they just hear ringing while the phone system is either ringing a ton of phones at once, or it's ringing a group of people sequentially. It's ringing one person maybe 4 times, and then it rings another person 4 times. But the person's not hearing hold music, they're just hearing ringing, and it might ring for a long period of time while it's finding different people. And the difference between them is also with a true call queue, where you have people in queue and somebody's sitting on hold waiting for somebody to be answered. You can also pull things like reports on how long people are sitting in queue, like live, like how many, like what's our call queue hold time right now? And you can see those metrics, and you can say, okay, we don't want to have anyone waiting in queue for more than 30 seconds. And if that's the case, I want you to ring these other folks at the same time and try to get somebody to pick up. Whereas a ring group or a hunt group, you don't have that option. All right, so that's some stuff to think about right away, is do we have just a ring group, or do we really need a call queue that's a true call center? All right, so building off of that, next thing you want to think of is, if you have a call center and you really need a call queue, do you only need phone calls, or do you need a bunch of other forms of communication? Like, do you want to have text messages thrown into the queue where you can see how long it's taking your company to respond to a text message, or an email, or a website chat request on your website? Those are all things now that you can add to the call queue, and you can manage. You could manage the wait times and the responses that are coming back and things like that. So does your company need only calls, or do they want to add additional things into the queue? And that's what you would call omni-channel queuing. Do you need email or text messages or website chat or social media, things like that added to the call queue? Okay, another feature you want to think about is call recording. Do you want to record calls? Is that really important to your organization? Do you want to be able to record all calls all the time? Or do you want to be able to record on demand? That will really help you determine some things. Another one might be workforce management. Do you want to be able to have software with your call center that helps you determine shifts, like shifts of call center agents, like be able to determine times of days that you're typically more busy, and help you predict your staffing so that you staff more people during certain times a day? And your call center software is able to help you with that, because it can see the patterns that are taking place with calls. Something else that I mentioned earlier is reporting. What types of reports do you need? Do you need real-time reports from the call queue, or do you just need historical call reporting? That's a big question to ask. Another thing you want to ask about features, ask yourself internally, is do we want some AI that can pick up on things like customer sentiment? So if you have a manager of your call center right now, how are they managing looking or listening to the call recordings every once in a while? A lot of times you'll hear a call center person say, hey, we have a manager that's, every once in a while picks out some calls at random and listens to the calls to make sure that they're managing the call center agents and know what they're saying on the phone. Well, that's a very inefficient way to manage your call center agents. Instead, nowadays they have things with AI, they can measure customer sentiment, so they can listen in. Your call center software can automatically listen in and detect if someone's happy or really mad, or using a competitor's name, or trigger words like pricing is too high, things like that. And they can take snippets of the calls and automatically send that to a call center manager, so they can only have to listen to important recordings instead of trying to find a needle in a haystack. So is that something that's interesting to you? And then lastly, another feature is, do you need your call center agents to take credit card information? Like, do they need to enter a secure portal to get the credit card information of a customer, and they need to be PCI compliant? And with that, do you need any other compliance? Do you need to be GDR compliant? Do you need to be HIPAA compliant? Things like that. So those are all feature questions that you need to ask yourself about your call center if you want to integrate it with Teams. And the reason being is because Some companies can integrate with Teams, and then some Teams integrations with call centers cannot do some of those things. And you have to use a separate call center software. Even though you want to integrate your call center software with Teams, it's not going to be able to because you want some of those other features, and Teams just isn't there yet sometimes with some of those features. So I hope this video was helpful. If so, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe down below. And hey, if you want my recommendation on the best vendors to quote for your company's call center software, don't start Googling it and trying to find a million videos out there like mine. It's great to watch the videos and educate yourself a little bit, but there are literally dozens, if not hundreds of options out there, and your chances of ending up with the wrong vendors are really high if you don't ask somebody who knows what they're doing. I've been doing this for 18 years. I know all the service providers out there that you should be quoting, and within a few questions I can tell you which ones to quote, introduce you to the right people at those organizations, and oversee the quoting process. And the nice thing is I don't charge you anything for doing it. The companies or the vendors, the call center software vendors actually pay me my broker fee. So you don't have to pay me at all. So there's no excuse not to at least reach out and ask me for my opinions. All right, so again, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button down below, and I will catch you on the next one.